Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Meetinghouse of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent worthiness and dignity of every person, and where we support each other on our spiritual search for truth and meaning. My name is Rev Kate Wilkinson, and I am so glad that you have joined us this morning. Welcome to those of you in the room, and welcome also to those of you joining us via our live stream. Before we begin our worship service, I have just a few announcements to share. The latest edition of our wonderful UUMH newsletter is now out. You can find it on our website, uumh.org, under the Connect tab. And you can also get the newsletter emailed to you each month by signing up on the green sheet on the welcome table. This month's theme is Harvest, and it's really beautiful, so I hope you'll check it out. Thank you so much to Kathleen, our newsletter editor, Stuart, our interviewer, and to all of you who contribute. It's just fabulous. On Tuesday morning at 10, we'll be having our next knitting circle. We're working on knitting prayer shawls for the pastoral care team to hand out. All are welcome. This happens the first and third Tuesday of every month. Our next round of circle suppers is this Saturday, October 11th. These are small potluck dinners in members' homes, and it is a great way to get to know each other in a smaller group. Today is actually the last day for you to sign up to either attend or host, and Lisa will be divvying up the names and giving hosts their lists very soon. So either see her or find the sign-up board on the welcome table to sign up. Kenneth, our office administrator, will be off next Sunday, so we are looking for a couple of volunteers to help with the coffee hour before and after service. If that might be you, please talk to Kenneth at coffee hour today. We're also starting to sign people up I think the welcome table is just a sea of clipboards at this point. We're starting to sign people up for our next new member class, which will be after service on Sunday, November 2nd. So if you have been thinking about becoming a member here, please sign up at the welcome table and make a note if you can be here in person for that class or if you'd have to attend online. We might be able to do that. There are so many great activities happening here in the months of October and November, so we've actually made a little fall calendar for you that you can find at the welcome table. It includes things like the 2 Zoe Lewis concerts happening here during Women's Week, the great concert by UU folk singer Peter Mayer, who wrote the hymn Blue Boat Home, happening on October 24th, the Trunk or Treat event that we always help with for the town on Halloween, and the return of our beloved chili cook-off on November 15th. So this list of fall events is on brightly colored paper downstairs, but we will also email it out to our UUMH folk email list as well. Finally, if you are attending worship in person today, we hope that you will stay a little while after the service for coffee and conversation downstairs in Acker Bosworth Hall. Let's take a moment now to affirm our Meetinghouse covenant. You can find this printed on the purple laminated cards in your pews, but I'm going to say it line by line, so you can just say it, repeat each line back to me. Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
This is our great covenant.
This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek the truth in love.
To seek the truth in love.
And to help one another. Now, as we light our chalice here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you who are watching from home to light a candle wherever you are. In this way, we can feel connected even while we are apart. And this morning, I invite our worship host, Lee and Kate, to light our chalice.
Our chalice lighting words this morning are by Brian C. Lee. We light our chalice as a symbol of the light within us and the life that flows through the world around us. It is our beacon as we search for truth. It is the warmth in our hearts for love, and it is the energy that propels us to action. May we be kindled by our time together.
Thank you. Won't you please join me now in singing our opening hymn? It's number 34 in our gray hymnals, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. That's hymn number 34 in the gray hymnals, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. Please rise as you are able. seated. I invite you now to join me in a spirit of meditation and prayer. After the meditation, we will sing together again, Spirit of Life, hymn number 123 in the gray hymnals. You can also find the words to this song printed on those same purple laminated cards in your pews. We'll sing it first in English and then in Spanish. Our meditation this morning is a poem by Mark Nepo that Claire shared with the worship committee this week. And Betsy read it aloud at our meeting, and we all took turns at the end sharing where we are finding beauty and what is making us sad. So I share this reading with you this morning as our meditation, hoping that you can make space in your hearts also to hold both. Everything is beautiful, Mark Nepo writes, and I am so sad. This is how the heart makes a duet of wonder and grief. The light spraying through the lace of the fern is as delicate as the fibers of memory forming their web around the knot in my throat. The breeze makes the birds move from branch to branch as this ache makes me look for those I've lost in the next room, in the next song, in the laugh of the next stranger. In the very center, under it all, what we have that no one can take away, and all that we've lost, face each other. It is there that I'm adrift, feeling punctured by a holiness that exists inside everything. I am so sad, and everything is beautiful. Amen. Now is our time for all ages, and we don't have all the ages in the room, but we have a lot of them. Do you all know what an icebreaker is? Yeah, it's like that getting to know you game that you play at the beginning of retreats and meetings to sort of break the ice and also raise the energy in the room. One of my favorite icebreakers is called 2 Truths and a Lie. You know this one? So you get with another person and you tell them your name, and then you tell them 3 things about yourself, 2 that are true, 1 that's a lie, but you don't tell them which is which. And then they have to guess which one is the lie. So I'll give you an example. So I'm Kate, and I'm 45 years old. I'm an extrovert, and I traveled alone to England when I was 12 years old. So, which one do you think is the lie? They know me too well. I am not an extrovert. I am an absolute introvert, and so I'd like extra credit for being up here right now. Yes. And I also want to tell the other introverts in the room, don't worry, you'll get through the next few minutes. It'll be fine. Because I want you to partner up with someone and play this game. And don't partner with your spouse, because that's cheating. So in a minute, don't move yet, you're going to find someone around you that doesn't know you super, super well, and you're going to tell them your name and 3 things about you. And I want you to think of those 3 things now before you move. 2 things that are true and 1 thing that's a lie. Take 1 minute to think about it. Okay, find someone to chat with. I promise it'll be okay. Okay, try to finish up the thought you're on. Make your guesses. Thank you for playing. Lee is going to offer our reading now.
Our reading this morning is entitled Revolution by Lynn Unger. You say you want a revolution? Who could argue with that? Bad is avalanching into worse, and we are all in its path. But don't buy a gun. The people you would be fighting already have bigger guns and more will to shoot them. Don't bother arming yourself. Instead, disarm. Disarm yourself of assumptions and of your brittle belief that you know how things should be. Disarm yourself of expectation. You will be wrong. Disarm yourself of the need to comfort. Go lightly into places where you are a stranger. Disarm yourself of loyalty to what is normal but false. Pledge allegiance to the tree outside your window, to your neighbor's children, to the speed of light. Fill your arms with fruit, with flowers, with a dog, with a cat, or a lover, or a mug of hot tea. Fill your body with singing or dancing, or the scent of bay trees in the rain. Empty your world of all that fails to serve the revolution, that fails the test of the seventh generation. Commit to the revolution, and I promise we will win. Not, of course, that everything will be fine. It never is. Revolution isn't the same as victory. Revolution is the turning of a wheel whose essence is change.
Thank you. Now is the time when we take a collection for the ongoing support of this Meetinghouse and our shared ministry. As we enjoy a musical reflection by our choir, we welcome your donations here in the sanctuary or online through PayPal or Venmo. You can find that information on our website, uumh.org. At this point, I invite 3 or 4 volunteer ushers forward to take up our collection. On and off-site, your offerings will now be gratefully received. When I was younger, we used to have a record player. Do any of you remember having a record player? Yes, you are my audience for this question. We had a record player, and one of my favorite records to play as a little girl was by Rosenschantz. It was a children's music duo popular in the 1970s and 80s. The singers were Gary Rosen and Bill Schantz. Rosenschantz. They sang songs like the Garden Song. Remember that one? Inch by inch, row by row. And way before Peanut Butter Jelly Time, they had a song called Peanut Butter Blues. But my favorite song that they sang was a song called It's the Truth. It was a very creative song about the elaborate excuses we make when we want to get away with something, like not doing our homework. And so each verse was like this really elaborate lie, and then the chorus went like this. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. I'm as honest as the day is long. Now, thank you. My plan today is to echo the first line of that chorus one or two times during the sermon, and I'd love you to help me. So let's just try that line. I'm going to sing it first, and you sing it back to me. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You're already very good, but we're going to sing it one more time just to be sure, so you get it stuck in your head there. Save it away for later. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We got it. That's excellent. Yeah. You are so good. Thank you. Wow, I am getting very warm in here. Hold on a second while I take this sweater off. I think I'm going to actually text Kenneth and have him turn down the heat.
Actually, Rev Kate, I'm kind of chilly. I think it's cold in here.
No, it's not cold. I'm hot.
Well, when the choir was practicing this morning, they were all remarking that it was cold in here.
Well, I don't really understand how they could be cold when I'm so hot. Hey, Vicky, are you cold?
I'm not cold now.
See, Lee, I have a friend named Vicky who is a choir person, and she says she is not cold. So I don't really believe you when you say that the whole choir feels cold. You know what? The choir probably just doesn't dress appropriately for fall. I mean, I hear a lot from the rest of the congregation, and they are really well prepared for each season. They dress in layers, and they understand New England. Yeah. But anyway, you know what? It doesn't really matter because I'm the minister, so I'm really the one who gets to set the temperature around here.
Oh, okay then, sorry.
Glad we got that settled. Just a note to any visitors we might have today. Don't worry. This has been a skit. We don't actually talk to each other that way around here. But it is kind of reflective of how we talk to each other in the wider world sometimes. And we don't even realize that we are doing it. We just assume that our lived truth is the whole truth. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yeah. And if we are someone in a position of power, our truth usually wins out. I get to set the temperature, right? And if we are not in a position of power, our truth usually gets explained away by others. You're not dressing appropriately, so it's your fault. there's something wrong with you. I have a friend from your group who doesn't feel that way. Sometimes we are in the power group, and sometimes we are not. And this all feels really different depending on which group you are in. When I worked at the Unitarian Universalist urban ministry, part of my job was training UU volunteers from the suburbs to work in Roxbury, an inner city neighborhood of Boston. The volunteers were predominantly white, older, middle and upper class. The youth that we worked with in our after-school and weekend programs were predominantly Black, young, from low-income families. It was actually an amazing blessing watching these two groups of people get to know each other. But as you can imagine, the volunteers needed a little training to prepare them for being effective mentors for children and youth whose life experiences were often so different from their own. And the youth really needed time to get to know and gradually trust these adults. When we talked about environmentalism, for example, the UU adults wanted to show a video of a polar bear on a melting ice cap because this had been a really motivating image for them to work on issues of climate change. The high school youth, many of whom had never been out of the city, did not care super deeply about the polar bears. And it just did not connect with how environmentalism could affect their own daily lives. We helped the volunteers to pick a video about bus depots and their placement in low-income neighborhoods and the incredible rates of asthma suffered in these neighborhoods where the buses would sit idling as they readied for their routes. And we used that video to spark a really interesting conversation about environmentalism and equity and climate change and who will bear the brunt of the scarcity that will inevitably happen when we deplete all our natural resources. Because the rich people are not going to feel it first, right? I often led our volunteer trainings with my coworker, Ashley. Ashley was herself a graduate of Roxbury Youth Programs at the UU Urban Ministry. She is African American, a few years younger than me, and dearly loved and trusted by the youth we worked with. And we would start the trainings with a skit, much like the one that Lee and Vicky helped me with this morning. I would say, "Whoa, it's so hot." And she would say, "I'm cold." And we would ask the volunteers, "So which of us is wrong?" It's not wrong to care about polar bears, right? It's also not wrong to care more about your own ability to breathe than an animal in the Arctic wilderness that you're never going to see. One of the most difficult concepts to grasp is that two truths can exist at once. And what do we do when our own truth comes into conflict with someone else's lived experience? Ashley and I could bond over being youth workers, over being women, over our love of Lisa's chicken salad sandwiches. Those were so good. But other things we had to talk about and explain and strive to understand. We had to listen to each other and believe each other when we explained what things felt like for us, each living in the world in our own skin. Oftentimes, we experience things really differently. Now, this happens on so many levels in so many areas of our life, right? Even with people who've had pretty similar upbringings to us. We talked a little bit about this a few years ago when we did a service about memory. And I asked you then, Have you ever had a conversation with a sibling in which you each remember something that happened so differently? And it's kind of pointless to argue about the facts in a situation like that, because each of you has that memory, which is now truth to you. So rather than duking it out as to whose memory is closer to what really happened, what would it be like to just listen to each other's versions, to live with two truths? Some people, when faced with conflict, want to focus on the facts. Just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. But it wouldn't have helped us much for Lee and I to focus on the facts in the skit, right? Because we could prove scientifically that it is 68 degrees in here, but one of us could still be hot and one cold. I think we often get in this truth trap when we get into political discussions with people who have different views than us. We try to argue the facts instead of listening to each other's lived realities and reactions. I know I do this, but so far it hasn't gotten me anywhere. You? You know, it's been a valuable spiritual lesson for me to learn that two truths can exist at once and to see the lie that one person has to be wrong and the other right. You get that time for all ages now? Two truths and a lie? It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I used to think there was one truth. There was right and there was wrong. There was telling the truth and there was lying. And believe me, I know that there's a lot of lying in politics. But now I realize that two people can be telling what they see as the truth. And those two things can totally not match up. And it's not that one is lying necessarily, but it's not the whole truth either. It's a piece of the truth from their lived experiences. We are so shaped by the world around us, the people we listen to, the channels we watch, the politicians we put our trust in, what's happened to us in our lives, how much money we have, if we are usually listened to or not. There is a government shutdown happening right now, and depending on who you listen to, it is definitely the Democrats' fault, or it is absolutely the Republicans' fault. And we're probably never going to bridge that gap. We just see things differently. What has been scaring me lately is that we seem to be entirely losing the capability to listen to each other's truths. And so we have become really siloed. Even though the world is supposedly more interconnected than ever, I am feeling the utter disconnect, the total lack of understanding or connection to others who see the world differently than we do. We find safety in the echo chambers of our own cohorts. Not long ago, a man was murdered while speaking at a college campus. He was very influential with young people. He was known for his provocative speeches and debates centering Christian nationalism, heteronormative families, and the supremacy of white people, if you really listen. He was also a husband and a father and had a very large audience. It was so strange to me because I had never heard of this man. But when he was killed, he was suddenly all over the news. All anyone was talking about. Flags were ordered flown at half staff. People lost their jobs over their criticism of him after his death. I'm actually not even using his name because people are using AI to track down anyone speaking doubtfully about him and making their lives really miserable, and I'm just not up for that right now. How is this man so influential and so beloved and so popular, I wondered, if I had never heard of him? Am I living under a rock? Am I in an alternate universe? And then I realized, yes, the last one. An alternate universe is pretty close to the truth. People who knew about this man and followed this man live in one reality, and I live in another. I thought about how, over the summer, when the genderqueer poet and activist Andrea Gibson died, all my friends were talking about Andrea's death, mourning together. My social media feeds were covered with quotes of their poetry, their last words, their battle with cancer, their legacy. My colleagues all used Andrea Gibson readings the next Sunday. Women Crafts is hosting a special Andrea Gibson stoop reading during Women's Week. If I were to ask my Republican brother-in-law who works in finance or my fishing guide cousin who lives in northern Maine if they are familiar with Andrea Gibson, I am most certain that they would not be. Because though we share so much of this world, there are ways in which we live in alternate ones. Alternate universes experience parallelly to each other, touching at times through shared experiences at weddings or a rare holiday gathering of extended family. You know, our life is the truth, but it's not the whole truth. I think I learned that lesson most deeply at the UU Urban Ministry, but I've been relearning it all the time since then, in all its nuances. I've learned that intent doesn't always line up with impact, that what is comforting to one person isn't at all comforting to another, that a word can mean really different things to different people. And you know, for a long time now, I've been more comfortable with the fact of two truths and with the challenge to really listen to another person's experience. But lately, the fact that we don't share truth has been scaring me a little. When that man was killed last month, I was upset by the violence that killed him, and I was upset at the evolving narrative about the person who killed him. But I was also upset because he believed some things that I think are so wrong, like in my bones. And it's scary to me that he was so popular, because that means that a lot of other people believe those things too. And it's just not enough for me to validate someone else's truth here, because those beliefs, those positions hurt, cause real harm to people I love. So in response, I feel like I need to speak my truth a little louder, to not be afraid to stand up for what I believe in, to coalesce with others around those truths, those Unitarian, Universalist values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Those are our shared UU values. Alongside our ability to listen to another's truth, we must hold dear our ability to listen for our own truth. That voice still and small that leads us forward. How are we going to navigate this time? No, we can't just be content to believe our curated, algorithm-driven social media feeds. We have to be curious. Find sources that feel trustworthy to us, voices who make sense to our ears, who are not just filling us with fear, but also with hope. Multiple sources, not just one. One source is dangerous. We must learn to metabolize the news in the ways that our very best social studies teachers taught us to do, critically, with both mind and heart. To discern our own truth, we must not follow our first knee-jerk reaction. We must sit with our discomfort for a bit. Look at many angles. Think on it. Pray on it. But we must also learn to listen to our intuition, our own bodies. Does your stomach clench when you hear something? Does your heart break? Do your shoulders lighten? These are clues we must follow on the path to our own truth. And we must have the courage to change our minds when we get new information, new understanding. It's the truth, but is it the whole truth? It feels really daunting right now to navigate these murky ideas about truth. Ideas that used to feel so cut and dry, but which now feel so uncertain and undependable. It's a scary time, a hard time. But we are actually really well equipped to hold multiple things at once, to value both listening to others and listening to ourselves, to be flexible and steadfast, to be compassionate and angry. We can hold two things. The world shows us how every day. We return to that meditation by Mark Nepo. Everything is beautiful, and I am so sad. This is how the heart makes a duet of wonder and grief. In the very center, under it all, what we have that no one can take away, and all that we've lost, face each other. I am so sad, and everything is beautiful. Friends, I don't know exactly how to navigate this moment, how we're going to get through it, but I do know that we can practice those two things: listening better to those who see things differently than we do, and listening for our own truth, standing up for it, standing up for those we love, standing up for what we believe. May we do so together. Amen, and blessed be. I'd love to thank you. I'd love to end with a hymn that speaks to this a little. It's 391, Voice Still and Small. It's in the gray hymnals. 391, Voice Still and Small. And Brenda's going to play it through once for us. and then we're going to sing it twice. And we can just stay seated for this one and make it a real meditation. Voice still and small.
It has become our practice to pose a question based on the theme of the service each week. It can be a topic of sharing at coffee hour today or with your friends during the week. If you'd like to delve deeper into this topic, we invite you to our midweek Zoom coffee hour on Tuesday at 5. If you're not on our UUMH folk email list, please let Kenneth in the office know, and he can get you that link. Our question this week is, can you think of a time you saw two different truths at once? Can you think of a time you saw two different truths at once?
And we'll end with these words by Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Go in peace.